Welcome back to Come Follow Christ. I'm your host, Jason, where I love helping you stay focused on Jesus Christ every day and in every way. And today we are going to be going on a deep dive into the Come Follow Me lesson for January 12th through the 18th, entitled In the Beginning God Created the Heaven and the Earth. These chapters, which cover Genesis 1 and 2, Moses 2 and 3, and Abraham's 4 and 5, are foundational to everything we believe about God, ourselves, and about the destiny of this earth. But when we look closely, the creation story doesn't just tell us where we came from, it tells us where we're going. It points us forward to the second coming of Jesus Christ with remarkable clarity and power. The scriptures begin with a world that is without form and void, as said in Genesis 1:2. Moses described it as empty and desolate in Moses 2, verse 2, and Abraham adds that darkness was upon the face of the deep in Abraham 4, verse 2. In this chaos, God speaks, "Let there be light," in Genesis 1, verse 3. This moment is more than the first day of Earth's history. It is a pattern for all of God's work. Christ is the light of the world, as referenced in John chapter 8, verse 12, and in the last days, when spiritual darkness will cover the earth, he will again speak light unto the world. Isaiah prophesied that the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee, even when gross darkness covers the people, from Isaiah 60, verses 1 and 2. The creation teaches us that darkness never has the final word, but Jesus Christ does. Every act of creation is a movement from chaos to order, from emptiness to abundance, from darkness to light. These movements mirror what Christ will do at his second coming. The earth today is again descending into confusion, conflict, and spiritual emptiness. But just as he did in the beginning, Christ will bring perfect order when he returns. Doctrine and Covenants, section 133, describes the Lord coming with power and great glory, cleansing the earth and restoring harmony. The creation is the first witness that Jesus Christ is capable of transforming the world, and the second coming is the final witness. One of the most profound truths in the creation accounts is that humanity is created in the image of God. Those references are in Genesis 1, verse 27, and Moses chapter 2, verse 27. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is a literal declaration of our divine origin and eternal destiny. Abraham teaches that we were organized before the world was, in Abraham chapter 3, verse 22, and that the angels said, "We will make them rulers," in Abraham 4, verse 26. Being created in God's image means we are designed to become like him. The second coming is a moment when that divine potential is fully revealed. John taught when he shall appear, we shall be like him. That's referenced in 1 John chapter 3, verse 2. Paul describes Christ's return as the moment when when corruptible shall put on incorruption, from 1 Corinthians 15:53. The creation is the beginning of our journey towards godliness. The second coming is the moment when that journey reaches its promised destination. The creation also introduces the first marriage. God declares that it is not good for man to be alone in Genesis 2, verse 18. And he brings Adam and Eve together as a union designed to last beyond mortality. Moses records that they were to cleave unto each other and be one flesh, from Moses chapter 3, verse 24. This is not merely a social arrangement, it is an eternal pattern. The second coming ushers in the time when eternal families are sealed, perfected, and established forever. Doctrine and Covenants, section 131, teaches that the highest degree of the celestial kingdom is reserved for those who enter into the new and everlasting covenant of marriage. The marriage of Adam and Eve is a prophetic symbol of the eternal family structure Christ will finalize when he reigns personally on the earth. The Sabbath day, sanctified during the creation in Genesis 2, verse 3, also points towards the future. The Sabbath is a day of rest, holiness, and renewal. The Millennium, the 1,000-year reign of Christ, is often described as the earth's Sabbath, a period of peace after 6,000 years of labor and turmoil. Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 77, verse 12, teaches that the earth will have its temporal existence in 7,000-year periods, with the seventh being the millennium. We honor the Sabbath now. We are rehearsing for the holiness and peace of Christ's millennial reign. The weekly Sabbath is a miniature preview of the world's future rest. Another powerful theme in the creation is stewardship. God places Adam and Eve in the garden to dress it and to keep it, from Genesis 2, verse 15. This stewardship is not merely agricultural, it is spiritual. The earth is the Lord's, as said in Psalm 24, verse 1, and he expects his children to care for it with reverence. Doctrine and Covenants, section 104, verse 13, teaches that the earth is full and that God intends his children to use its resources with wisdom and gratitude. At the second coming, Christ will return to a world that he expects his covenant people to have cared for. Our stewardship today reflects our preparation to live in a renewed earth, one that be renewed and receive its paradisiacal glory. That is from Articles of Faith, verse 10. The creation account also reveals Christ's identity as the creator. John testifies in John chapter 1, verse 3, that all things were made by him. Paul teaches that by him were all things created in Colossians 1, verse 16. The Book of Mormon adds that he is the creator of all things from the beginning, as said in Mosiah chapter 3, verse 8. This matters because that same Jesus who created the earth will return to transform it. Revelation describes his return with the promise, "Behold, I make all things new," in Revelation 21, verse 5. The beginning of the world points directly to its glorious future renewal. Even the sequence of the creation days has symbolic meaning. Light comes first, then separation of waters, then land, then life, then humanity, and finally rest. This progression mirrors the spiritual progression of the earth itself. The last days are a time of gathering, separating, cleansing, and preparing. Christ's return is the final day, the moment of rest and renewal. The creation is not just history, it is prophecy. The Garden of Eden itself is a symbol of the millennium. Eden was a place of peace, harmony, and direct communion with God. The millennium will restore these conditions. Isaiah describes a time when the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord. That is from Isaiah 11, verses 6 and verse 9. The creation story gives us a glimpse of what the world will look like when Christ returns and restores all things to their paradisiacal state. In every part of the creation story, we see a God who brings light, order, purpose, and holiness. These divine patterns will be fully realized when Jesus Christ returns in majesty and power. The creation is not just the opening chapter of Scripture, it is a prophetic preview of the second coming. The first coming of Christ made salvation possible, and his second coming will make salvation complete. So thank you for joining me today on Come Follow Christ. I'd like you to like, comment, and subscribe down below what your favorite part was. Let me know also what your favorite verse is and your favorite part of the creation. I also want to invite you to join me this year. I'm going to try to do a weekly version of Come Follow Me so that you can follow along with the Old Testament and how everything points towards Jesus Christ. So thank you for joining me today on Come Follow Christ, where I love helping you stay focused on Jesus Christ every day in every way.